Today, I want to take you through how to help you visualize what each of your motifs that you created yesterday or the last meeting that we were in, what those could look like in a radial design if each were repeated 4 times around the center of a circle. So here you can see that I have a 4-point rotation and I have a 4-point rotation with a mirror. So I'm going to explain the difference between those two today, but I'm going to take you through how I do this in Word. So you the other day created 4 different motifs for your plate design, and you're going to choose one of those to create a radially balanced composition. So this example right here is a radially balanced composition because it has the same motif, the same corner of the motif, and it's rotated 4 times around that central point. But how do we do this and visualize it and make a decision before we get into the clay? Now, this technique that I'm showing you using technology can be a real time saver. For some of you, you think, oh, this is going to take me more time. But in reality, it might save you some time from making a mistake. Sometimes if we take a motif and we say, oh, I think this will look good, I'm just going to try it. And then you get through transferring that to your clay and you look back and you're like, I wish I would have done something different. Then you're either not going to be satisfied with your end product or you're going to spend a whole lot more time redoing the entire thing. So this is going to give you an opportunity to help you really visualize in a concrete way what these different motifs could potentially create. So you have 4 motifs. They could potentially create 8 different radially balanced compositions. Today, you're going to see how I'm using one motif and create 2 compositions. So 2 compositions are 2 options per motif that you've created. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with a 4-point rotation. This one's one of the easier ones to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a photo of my image, and I'm going to go up here. So I've hit the Insert tab, and then I'm going to insert the photo. I'm going to click on that, and you can see where I already have that in my photo. So I'm going to click on that, and it will bring up the image. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so that we can see it. So I don't want to necessarily move this, but what I want to do is crop it because this has got too much stuff. Okay. So I'm going to go up to my crop tab underneath my picture tab here. And I'm going to click that, and you're going to see some indicators where the boundaries are going to be. All right. Now, here's my goal. I want to make a square, a perfect square when I am cropping. So as I'm moving this, you're going to see some numbers pop up. So my goal is to make my width and my height the same number, the same length. All right. So this is going to hop around a little bit, but we're just going to be patient with it. So what I want to do is make my height and my width the same. And I want to make this up real tight up against the drawing that I created. And you can use your finger and stylus for this. It works. Oh, look at that. Perfect. 2.63. Now, you are all going to probably have different numbers, a different set of numbers, and that's fine. It will work no matter what. All right, so I have that perfect square. Okay, I'm going to click on that one more time just so that you can see what that number looks like. Well, maybe it won't. Well, we'll just go ahead and crop. There we go. All right, I'm also going to make this a little bit smaller. So I want to keep those numbers the same. All right, now I'm going to move that up. All right, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that we can see what we're doing here. All right, so now what I need to do is make or copy and paste three more of these so that I can repeat this multiple times. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my image and I'm going to have this little menu pop up. And what I want to do is I just want to paste. Okay, so I'm going to paste that once, twice. So I have 4 times. And then I'm just going to arrange them right next to each other. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention to is I've been able to make this into a perfect square, and that's because of the way I took my picture. If you take your picture and it is not parallel with your picture plane, if it's a little bit at an angle, then you're going to have bigger gaps, and it's going to be hard for you to get a precise matchup. So when you take your picture of your motif, make sure that it is parallel. All right, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to show you this real quick. When you click on an image, there is this little rotation here, okay? That's going to allow you to move this back and forth and rotate it. But before we do that, I want to just clarify what we're trying to do. We're trying to take the corner, this corner of this entire motif, and we want that corner to be repeated right in the center 3 more times. So that means this corner needs to be rotated up to here. This corner needs to be rotated to the center, and this corner needs to be rotated to the center. That's going to give us our radial balance. Radial meaning circular, and everything's rotating around the center. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this one. I'm going to grab that rotating tool, and I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. Okay, I'm going to do the same for this one. This one I'm going to probably have to rotate. What do you think? That's 90, so that's not quite enough. 180 degrees. 180 degrees is half the degrees in a circle. Okay, so now this one, again, I want to move that corner over to the center, so I'm going to have to rotate it. Oop. That wasn't any fun. Let me show that one more time. Ready? I'm going to rotate, and there we go, just like the top. All right, so that is your 4-point rotation. With the 4-point rotation, all you're worrying about is the same corner in the middle, and you're just rotating as you repeat, okay? You're not worried about things being symmetrical. Notice how it doesn't quite match up. If that bothers you, what you can do, you got one of 2 choices. You can, when you transfer this to your clay, you can just take your pencil and connect the lines, and then that will fix that. If you are someone where you like things to be symmetrical, so symmetry means that if you cut your image in half, either vertically along that axis or horizontally along that axis, one side is going to be the mirror image of the other. This one is not a mirror image. If you would prefer a mirror image because your eye enjoys that more, then we should probably learn how to create this type of rotation. So these look quite a bit different. Let me show you the difference. See how they are different? So the one up at the top is approximately symmetrical. That means that it's got approximately the same stuff on either side. It's just not a mirror image. Here, if I cut that in half, one side is a complete mirror image of the other. That means that I flipped it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this image and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to paste it 3 more times. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then I'm going to arrange those so that they're all lined up. Oops. I may have to move this up a little bit. Give me a sec. Give me some room. There we go. Okay, so now our goal is again to rotate or to repeat that same motif 4 times around the middle and still keep the same corner in the middle. But the difference now is we need to make that mirror image, right? So what we're going to have to do is we can't rotate it, because if we rotate it, we're just going to get the same thing that we got with the 4-point rotation. We need to do a mirror. So we're going to not rotate. What we're actually going to do is flip, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to keep this square as is because it already has the corner that we want in the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that image, and I'm going to go up to where I have in the menu underneath the picture tab, I have the word arrange. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to give me some options. Now, again, remember I said we're not going to rotate because that's going to cause us more work. All right. All we need to focus on is the flip vertical or the flip horizontal. So let's look at that. So what that means is that's going to help you create a mirror image. Do you see how the triangle is flipped to create a mirror image either on that vertical axis or the horizontal axis? Okay, so let's look at this. So if I want this edge of my H to match up with this edge of my H, which of those flips and matches up with that? Is it my vertical flip or is it my horizontal flip? Let's try both and see what happens. Let's try the vertical flip. I'm going to flip that. Oops, wrong one. Let's try that again. I had the wrong one clicked. There we go. Got to make sure you select the right one. All right. So let's see what happens when I click on the flip vertical. Does that give me what I want? Nope. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click redo. And now I'm going to try the arrange flip horizontally. See how that makes that a mirror image? It just one flows right into the other because it's all matched up. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to these two. I'm going to match those up. Oops, what did I do wrong? I forgot to select my image. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go to arrange. And again, which one do I need to do? Do I do flip vertical or flip horizontal? Which one is showing me that axis right there? If you said flip horizontal, you were right. There we go. Now, I got my two halves, right? Now I've got to flip this half so it matches up with this axis right here. So I'm going to continue to do my arrange. Now I'm on this horizontal axis, right? You would think you'd do horizontal, but you're actually going to do the vertical because it's going to flip upward, not across. So I'm going to click on the flip vertical. There you go. You got that mirror image again. And I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to flip vertically. And there I go. Now I have my 4-point rotation with that mirror. So this is exactly symmetrical. You have the mirror images. Whereas this one, if you like that, that's great. You can choose to do that. It won't necessarily be the kaleidoscope that we're talking about, but it will still be a radial design. It's really your personal preference. Okay? So I hope that helps you have one more technique in your toolbox to help you visualize what a final image could look like on your clay. Go ahead and watch this video multiple times to help you work through this process. But definitely, this is a time saver. Have a decision made by looking at how you have played around with your motifs before you start working in your clay.